Samantha is my given name. I have been employed at Eastbridge Tech for the past 8 years, where I have been constructing a project that I am passionate about. I am 39 years old. I am pleased of. Check, check, and check. Loyalty, performance, and leadership. Every quarter, I surpass my key performance indicators. I volunteered to oversee the recovery process during each crisis. I even instructed half of the team. Presently, they possess administrators. However, on a dreary Thursday afternoon, all of that was rendered irrelevant in a mere 5 words. "Congratulations to Lisa, my niece." I blinked, uncertain if I had understood the information correctly. Subsequent, the conference room was filled with courteous applause. However, my ears were reverberating. Lisa smiled as if she had recently discovered gravity. Standing up, she waved modestly and flashed a 2-sided, dazzling grin as if she had not just jumped over an entire career ladder. 4 months. Lisa will serve as our new Director of Strategic Operations. My supervisor, Alan Sade. She is a source of energy and a new perspective, and I am confident that she will contribute to our growth. New perspective. That is what they consistently assert this when they endorse an individual who is youthful, inexperienced, and has a strong connection to an individual in a position of authority. Lisa was the daughter of Alan's sibling. Everyone was aware. It was not discussed by anyone. I was paralyzed with fear. I am still in possession of the presentation clicker from the quarterly review that I recently delivered, that in which I had devised an outline of strategy that resulted in a $1.2 to $2 million reduction in supply costs for the company. The identical assessment that Alan had commended immediately prior to transferring my responsibilities to his niece. Alan beamed at me. "Samantha, would you be able to assist Lisa in her transition into the position? Your contributions have been crucial in advancing our operations to the point at which they are today. Was it instrumental? Similar to a pinion or a wrench? Is there something that is both replaceable and useful?" I reluctantly nodded and attempted to maintain a smile. I am more than willing to assist. However, within, something malfunctioned. Clarity rather than anger or sorrow. 8 years ago, I am currently in this location following a traumatic divorce. I had lost all of my confidence and half of our assets to my ex-husband. I was compelled to reconstruct from the ground up. Eastbridge was intended to serve as that venue. I remained late, labored overtime, and ultimately surrendered. Vacations. When I was unable to locate childcare, I carried my daughter to the office on weekends. I was the one who was reliable, the individual who resolved issues when others were in a state of distress. Upon the arrival of CO, I was Theon responsible for the development of the remote logistics protocol that ensured the continuity of our entire supply chain. There were no incentives awarded that year. However, Alan presented me with a card of gratitude. It was written by hand and stated that I was suitable for a position in management. It is amusing that the term management material originally referred to an individual who could be relied upon without the expectation of promotion. Lisa had joined the organization 4 months ago, immediately following my graduation from graduate school. She was undoubtedly intelligent. However, she would never permit a team to negotiate Avendor contract or managed a 2 a.m. event. A crisis occurred when a shipment was delayed in customs. I observed her express her gratitude to the crew, express the depth of her gratitude and respect. She even expressed her desire to acquire knowledge from everyone, as if she had been granted the position for which I had worked for nearly a decade. In the aftermath of the meeting, I sat down in silence, closed the door, and returned to my workstation. The office in my vicinity was abuzz with activity. I was unable to hear the clanging of phones and the pinging of emails, as was customary. I gazed at my laptop, blinking back the tears, a sensation of warmth in my irises. I went on to open a blank document and commence typing. It was not an outburst. It was not emotive. It was a missive, professional, concise, and unambiguous. Subject: Notice of resignation. In the next 2 weeks, I will provide a detailed explanation of my justifications, thank the organization for the experience, and extended an offer of assistance with the transition. I contributed one concluding sentence. Finally, one that truly brought a joy to my face. Lisa, I wish you the best of success. It was printed, folded, and placed in an envelope. I required 30 minutes to pack my workstation. The majority of my possessions were left behind: notebooks, binders, and internal manuals that I had developed. I was not consuming any other substance beyond my honor. As I approached Alan's office, clutching the letter in my hand, I can already sense the air flowing around me. He was conversing with an individual in the hallway while standing. I awaited. Upon his realization, he beamed at me as if nothing had occurred. "Samantha, your review was exceptional. I presented him with the envelope today." He inquired, "What is this?" "My 2 weeks," he chuckled under the impression that I was joking. He then proceeded to open it. He altered his demeanor. "You are incapable of accomplishing this," he declared, his voice becoming increasingly strained. "We require your assistance immediately." I replied, "I have Lisa now," with a composed demeanor. "I am confident that she will be able to resolve the matter," when he elevated his voice. "Samantha, refrain from acting hastily. This is not an emergency." "Professional. You are emotionally reacting. Consider your daughter and your career." I gazed into his eyes. I am contemplating both options. I then turned and strolled away. But I was aware of the fact that this was simply the case before I even reached my vehicle, and I refrained from looking back. Beginning. On the Monday following my resignation, I arrived at the office at 7:45 a.m., 15 minutes earlier than the standard schedule. Not because I had a point to prove, however, as I desired to conclude my final 2 weeks in a manner that was both orderly and within my control. Lisa was already situated at her new workstation. If we are being candid, my old desk is perched awkwardly, in front of 3 monitors and a tangled jumble of cables. Records. She was delighted to see me. "Samantha, I was anticipating your arrival." Clearly relieved, she stated, "It is early. I require assistance in comprehending the second question. Vendor reconciliation report." I acknowledged. "Certainly, let's review it." I retrieved the item, the supply dashboard that I constructed from the ground up over the course of 5 years. It established a connection between active orders